Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, the seekers and sojourners of truth, the 144, chosen of the chosen few. You know who you are. I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am Celestial Earth in this divine energy essence of it all, reporting to you live from nowhere other than dimension number 5, in the place to be. Stand up if you here with me as the world turns, as the planet turns, as we get our soul ascension on and up. Ashe. As usual, I bring you the news to infuse, if you so choose to infuse with that light, while we lighten up here on this light grid, like they lighten up in the skies right now, getting ready for their holiday, holy day. Right, so if you choose to, hey, if not, I mean, cool. If not, you can always refuse. It's your choice. But remember, be prepared to be fried and on the grid when you refuse. And it's a whole lot of frying going on this grid. You hear them frying out there while they celebrating a holy day. Right, which usual on their independence, what we have, if you have the 5D calendar, if you've had it before, is soul sovereignty. Our independence is our soul's independence, which is actually every day for us. But we utilize this day, this opportunity to kind of transvert. I don't even know if that's a word, but that's what I'm hearing in my head. Let's transvert the day, to flip it, basically, to flip the script that they have given us for these holidays and to return into our soul. So yeah, soul sovereignty, soul liberation, soul freedom, right? This is an opportunity to go into our souls and be about our soul's business, Ashe. So if you haven't already gotten one, what are you waiting for? Get to the 5D corner near you. The 5D calendar is what helps us return to this, right? To help us know this soul sovereignty. This is why I do the 5D calendar, to help us return to the origins of time, right? Because we're in our true year of 2017, right? Not 2025. That's not the real year. They bumped us up ahead 8 years. That's why we got the 5D calendar, to bring it on home, bring it back to the home inside of here, right? As usual, like I always say, this calendar is not the only calendar. There's multiple calendars, as my guides have let me know. There's no one-way calendar, but the ideal, the truth of the matter is to get us as close to the true timeline reality as possible, as close to the origins of times. And the origins of times are when we are on our, according to nature, according to the Medu netter, the netter of time, right? The divine nature within time that follows the seasons, that follows the 4 corners and the 4 directions of the earth. Ashe? So get it at a 4D corner near you. If you haven't already done so, I'll put the link below. I need to check to make sure it's in the other ones, but the link should be below at akilatextry@gmail.com, AKILAHTEXTRI@gmail.com, as well as if you want any one-on-ones, if you want to know your star code or your let's say your natal chart. I like to call it your nativity scene. You can set up an appointment to have a one-on-one to understand what your nativity scene is, your natal chart. Ashe. And always remember to like, subscribe, share, comment if you dare, so we can keep on these algorithms and get those who are in remote places to be able to see us out here on the light grid, lighten up, to be able to find their place in the light grid, because we're all on the light grid. It's just a matter of, are you infused with the light on the light grid, which is energy and information. So welcome aboard for those who are walking up into 5D, into the 5th dimension, into their new and true timelines. Ashe. With that said, let me get right into these energetic, what I wanted to talk about is the energy imprints, right? These energetic imprints, these covens that a lot of us are a part of and we're not aware of, right? There are these energetic cults. It's something I've been speaking about more. And these energetic cults are just like how we understand cults on the outside. It's not just these covens and cults on the outside. There is very much so what I'm being shown, or what's being highlighted to me, is for us to be aware of the energetic cults and these energy imprints. All imprints are energetic anyway, because we can't see it. These are imprints in the etheric realm. These are imprints that we have left behind on our soul's imprints that hold the codes, that holds our trauma, karma, right? And the ancestral trauma, those are the ones that are in the bloodline, Ashe. So there are these energy cults that, let's looking at these imprints from previous lifetimes is what I want us to understand. There's levels to this, so flow with me as much as you can. There are previous lifetimes, so there are imprints that we have from previous lifetimes that we've left behind, that travels through in this timeline, through what I call our earthly portal. The earth chakra has a lot to do with that. You can find a lot of these codes, as well, through the earth chakra, because the earth chakra is like a really, really, really deep root chakra. It's what I call the portal into the earth. Your portal through every earthly existence that you have had. There are codes there within the earth, right? So there are those imprints that we have had that carry through us from lifetime through lifetime. And it's also encoded in our blood, right? The blood also represents the root chakra. The earth chakra is a deep root chakra. So definitely the roots run deep. So in your bloodline, and I don't just mean who you're related to, right? Your blood holds the code of everything. The memory codes are encoded in your blood. This is why when we have a soul ascension, we have a DNA activation, and vice versa. When you activate your DNA, it also ascends your soul, right? Usually, from what I notice, it's usually the other way around. Usually it's the more you ascend in your soul, which is the more you release in your body. The more you release from these old karmic imprints that are showing up in your body, the more you let go in the body, mentally, emotionally, is the more you harmonize the mental, emotional stability in your soul's imprint, in your soul's capacity, and you then tap into your superconscious and you ascend in your soul, right? And I usually talk about it in a way of harmonizing your superconscious. Is the way to get into your superconscious is when you harmonize your conscious and your subconscious mind. And when you harmonize that, you activate, you access your superconscious or your Christ conscious mind. And that is how you ascend in your soul, one level at a time, soul ascension at a time. And every time you open these codes and you ascend in your soul, you activate your DNA some more. You have a DNA activation because you are opening and unlocking memory codes at a very deep soul level, into your blood, which is your spiritual imprint. The blood holds your God encryption codes, so it's all activated there. So of course, the more soul work you do, the more you activate this DNA, and the more you change the very codes in your DNA, right? So that's just to understand the blood aspect of it, the bloodline, meaning there's so much information that comes with us into our bloodline, energetically as well as literally, physically, through our blood, our genetic blood, the bloodline we've chosen to come through, right? And there are specific bloodlines that we have chosen to come through to remove certain karmic imprints on our soul, right? So you may be wondering, well, why did I choose this family? You don't got to ask too far. Just go into your higher self and recognize that there is work that you came here to do. There is certain things you have come to transcend, that some persecution in that bloodline helps to kind of catapult you through. So speaking of persecution, this is another imprint, persecution imprint, which is a new phrase, I wouldn't say, that I've been hearing and I may be using more of, because there are these levels of persecution that a lot of us in past lives have literally been persecuted, right? Meaning we may have been burned, we may have been beheaded for being in our divine roles that we played in previous lifetimes. And this is why we feel it even in this lifetime. So part of our work is to remove all persecution. Why I'm saying all of this now, because as things are changing, as the world turns, right, as the planet turns, and as we shift these old paradigms, it's almost like I'm seeing skin peel. It's almost like we're peeling layers of skin as we shift. Um, some of these persecutions may come up, and you may find yourself facing it even as we have been doing the work, right? A lot of us have been lifting layers, doing the work, doing our shadow work, and elevating and evolving. And the more we do so, the more you have those parasitic energies still wanting to play on those chords, on our persecution imprint, some of the imprints that's there. That's why it's really important to take this time right now to go deep into your soul. A lot of us need to go back into the chrysalis, back into the cocoon stage. And it's not to be scary. It's not nothing scary to be like, oh, the world is so dark and it's so chaotic right now. Yes, there's a lot of chaos kicking up right now because there's more light being poured in. So the chaotic energy is like all over the place. So you're going to see it. This is not a time for us to be superheroes onto the world. The best superhero we can do or be is onto ourselves. So going within, into that cocoon, into that chrysalis, to really fine tune and find where there are persecution imprints in our soul, because those are the chords that they're playing on right now. They want to confuse us. They want to keep us confound and bound. And so they're playing a lot of mind games, right? And they're using our loved ones. And a lot of it is, sometimes you may feel like it's all in your head. Like, is it just me? And this is why I want to talk about this, because there may be many out there who are feeling like you're losing it, or you're going like, man, I must be making this up, because there's no empirical evidence for what you're witnessing, because you're witnessing things at a very energetic level. You're witnessing the imprints, right? These imprints that were once invisible because the veils are so thin. They're not that invisible anymore. They're very visible by the 144, the chosen of the chosen few, those of us who are leaders of the light and light bringers. And we are seeing it so clearly. These imprints that are supposed to be invisible are very visible to us. So it can make one feel as if they are losing it. Like, am I imagining this? No, you're not imagining it. It is an image, right? I'm in my true blue. Today is Thursday, throat chakra day, right? It is image, as in image a nation, as in what you image is what you're seeing out there. You are able to put an image to it because you can now see it, right? And image a nation, image the world that you see around you, right? So I say this so that you don't feel like you're losing it, because that's what it's meant. That's how it's meant to play on you now in our intellect and in our mind. The persecution now is not as literal as it was before, right? In our previous lives, we may have literally been haunted and killed and persecuted aggressively, overtly, right? And it may not be that overt in this lifetime, although it can literally be so as well. Some people are literally physically feeling it and being physically attacked. But for the most part, most of us in this timeline, in this lifetime, we're feeling it covertly. We're feeling it subtly in these underhanded ways that plays in your minds, where you're feeling this persecution. What that may show up as is you may be feeling stifled, in your family, especially if you're finding the balance. Those of us who are elevating and we're finding compassion, compassion for the collective. So we don't want to impose. We understand the differences in the world. We're not here to create more illusion of separation. We're done with illusions, and we don't want to add to the illusion. And I get it. A lot of us are being very careful with that. And I know it's hard to do while being true, right? While being on the authenticity frequency, while others are very inauthentic. So it poses this opposition. And so we don't want to really add to that. And I get that. And those parasitic energies and those opposition energies are aware of that, and they're playing on those chords because they're aware that there are ones of us out there who are fine-tuning this balance and this harmony. um, so we don't want to add to that separation. However, it is for us to recognize it, see the difference. We know that we're at a point where differences are complementary, right? It's not about a this or that. It is about the harmony. And we understand that there's a harmonizing, as I said, in the soul. And so we understand the harmony between the differences, that we're not here for the illusion of duality, but to transcend duality and transcend duality back into one mind consciousness. So the differences are complementary onto this one mind consciousness, and a lot of us see these as that. However, we still have to pay attention to what is trying to attack or draw us out into a separation. So in these energetic realms, in the imprint of it all, they're attacking in these subtle ways, where it could be family members, it could be friends around you that may say these little subtle things that, even if it's not said, we can feel it. We can feel the resistance. We can feel the tension, because that is what they're set to do. They are the props. They are a part of that energy because they haven't done their work to the fullest, or because of their wounds. They're at the mercy of their own wounds, right? This is why it's important to heal thyself and to know thyself, because what they don't know is what they become a part of. They become a part of those parasitic energies, and their job is to continue to have you to feel persecuted. And I say all that so that you see this is not all in your head, because yes, they will be smiling in your face. Yes, they will still be doing nice things for you, but then you have to realize that they're also utilizing those entities that are utilizing them, is also utilizing that. So that's part of playing with your mind, so that you can, when you look at it face value, it's like, see, they're only trying to help you, but there's something behind that help. Okay, and these are the things that are happening in the energetic cults, within the families, and they are the gatekeepers. Even some of these family members are gatekeepers in keeping this energetic cult or covenant that they have with this demonic energy or these parasitic energies, to help keep the bloodline in this division and derision. And they know, they're very much aware of your existence as being a generational curse breaker, and you're here to clear that imprint. So the fight that you're getting is for you to always feel persecuted. And I'm saying all of that to say this is why sometimes you feel claustrophobic, or you feel stagnant, or it's like, why can't I just get through this? Even though you've evolved to a point where you're not looking for acceptance. You no longer are battling with rejection, because you know you are accepted by the divine presence of source. So we're not looking for validation from others anymore, and you get that, but for some reason there's still this block, there's still this stagnation in what is it that, because it wants to block you from now doing what we're supposed to do in our bloodline, to change the code in our bloodline, literally in our ancestral bloodline, which also helps you in your personal bloodline, meaning your energetic bloodline. Because when you change your energetic bloodline, it's still the blood, and it's going to change your ancestral bloodline. That's why you get that fight and that kickback. It's about you, but also it's about their survival, right? Their egoic survival, for that parasitic entity to still live on through them and through that covenant that they have. And they're not aware of this covenant, right? This is why I call it an energetic cult, because they're not aware of it. But these are imprints that are there collectively in the bloodline, and we face this persecution. Now let me go a little bit deeper. What some may not even notice is the very families that you were born into, they were set up by design through their unhealed wounds to continue to persecute you in this lifetime, to continue to send you these energy of resistance and blocks, that so that you can keep questioning yourself, even as you're elevating and evolving. and seeing beyond a lot of it, but on a whole nother level. A lot of times we're not realizing that this was all a part of the setup in this energy imprint. And I want to show it to us on this way. There's a twofold to it, right? A lot of us have chosen to come through these family bloodlines in a twofold way. For one, it is, and knowing, it's kind of like when Yeshua knew that Judas was going to do what he did. And he was like, go ahead, Judas, do what you got to do, because you have to allow some things to play out for a twofold reason. For one, you got to give that freedom and space, a free choice, to let them make that choice on what they are going to do. And two, give them the opportunity to redeem themselves for what they have already been doing, because they've already been doing something that leads up to what they're now doing, if that makes sense. So what I mean is, there's some things in our family, they're strategically placed there, and chances are there is an ongoing issue where they may have also been the ones who persecuted you in a previous lifetime, whether related or not, but they were the persecutors in a previous lifetime. And now in this lifetime, as they show up as these family members, especially the ones, you know, the ones I'm talking about, especially the ones where you constantly feel persecuted by, or continually get this pushback by. Let me go back to the twofold. You chose this experience. You as a spiritual being, let's say in your higher spiritual being, this has to do with divine selection, let's say, for a twofold reason. For one, to allow this to play out, knowing that you're coming in through this bloodline, through this person who was once a persecutor in a previous lifetime, for twofold. One, to allow it, because you're allowing yourself to be a part of their story as well, to give them the opportunity as well to allow this to play out, for them to have the opportunity. And I know this may sound weird, but in this lifetime, for them to have the opportunity to persecute you in this lifetime, as you know that this is part of the convoluted universe, but it's something that will play itself out, because it's something that they were already doing. They were already persecuting. So they're already set to do so, right? And so with the parasitic energies that they're aligned with, it's almost like, we need you to finish this job. We need you to be this one. Like they're aware of it too. And they think they're going to get away with something, and they may very well, do. But here's how things are always turned for the good. This is what I love about the good. The divine is going to allow you to play that out. Go ahead, Judas, do what you got to do. Go ahead, parasitic energy, do what you got to do. Because they're aware, once they come into this realm, the parasitic energy is going to get a hold of that information as well, because it's information. So now they have their layout, they got your layout, and we're going to watch this play out, right? And it's for you to have the opportunity, the twofold for you of what you're given is giving them that opportunity to play out what they need to play out with the parasitic energy, knowing that it's inclined to be with that parasitic energy of persecuting you, because you have to transcend that persecution anyway. So that is allowed to happen. And the twofold, the second fold, is to allow for redemption. Meaning to give them, they also have the opportunity to find out what they're doing, because they're going to play it out, especially in the beginning, because they're not coming out the bat doing their soul work. None of us are, right? We learn and we start to find ourselves and do our soul work. So of course it's going to play out. And so the second fold to that is giving them the opportunity for redemption. This is also their redemption song. Their persecution with you and against you is their redemption song, if they choose to know it. The most important part is you knowing it and finding it and removing that imprint. This is a part of what's happening now with, even in the soul ascension, removing that imprint, or finding this persecution imprint, so that you can extract it from having any meaning in this lifetime, so that you can transcend it, so you can recognize that person for exactly who they are energetically. And this may be hard to do, because in your face, and like I said, physically, literally, they're helping you. They're not doing anything wrong, but energetically, you see what is behind it in the imprint, in the energy imprint. You see what they stand for. Even in your family coven, that they're a part of. They're all part of this persecution towards you, although they know it not, right? But it's for you to know it so that you know how this can play out, so you know what not to entangle yourself with. And now the key right now, as you're working through that imprint, is to how to break the ties between that, how to still live, let's say, in harmony, right? Not hate them, not be mad at them, because of course we can't take it personal. Looking at the energy of it though, and recognizing, having certain boundaries and holding yourself accountable for how you allow things to show up and what you will allow. And this is how we start to unravel these energy imprints, by recognizing them. That's the main thing I want us to understand. So don't think you're going crazy, because when you look at them, you're like, oh, but they're smiling with me and they're helping me. But behind that, you can feel that energy, right? There's a karmic imprint. There's your karmic imprint that you're working on to remove. And the work for you is to remove the rest of that residual feeling of persecution, to get beyond that, because there's a certain wisdom that you carry in this lifetime. That's why you always feel like that. So don't feel, like paranoia or paranoid. It's the wisdom from the previous lifetime that says, I can't move like this with this person, or there's this kind of hold up with you and this person or this loved one, because your wisdom from previous lifetimes, so they call it intuitive wisdom, that travels with you from previous lifetime, that highlights something that says, no, we can't go there with that. But now you're able to really acknowledge it, seeing these energetic imprints, not calling yourself crazy for it, recognizing it. And you don't have to call it to everybody's attention, because everybody can't see it with these two eyes right here. It's about this eye, the all-seeing eye, and stand confident in it. That's the main reason why I wanted to talk about this. So, because I know a lot of us may be feeling like, is it me? Listen, stand in your confidence of who you are, who you know you are, what is going on, being aware of it. And you don't have to explain it with anyone. If you can't find like-minded people who are truly like-minded, that recognizes this energetic imprint, this realm of the unseen that a lot of people aren't seeing, right? But they really are, because the veils are thin, so they're seeing a lot more than they think they are. That eyeball is in the palms of their hands. It's a whole nother story, but they're seeing, okay, connected to the heart. As I had to explain to my daughter today, that eye in the palm of the hand, this is the portal. This is a portal for a lot of us. And through this portal, we can see a lot with this eye, right? With these eyes, we may see nothing. You may look in and look around and be like, I don't see nothing. But with this eye, with the eye, that's the portal, the palm in the hand, the portal in the palm of your hand, you will see a lot. And you'll be able to alchemize accordingly. Ashe. So, as I say, I share this with a lot of us who are ascending, and you may be seeing things. Please pay attention to the energetic imprints. They are there, they are real, they are true. And it is still beckoning us to be in the true timeline, to operate through authenticity in the vibratory field, no matter what, and not allow the inauthentic ones to trigger you, to trigger any previous past life persecution, but for you to recognize it and ascend these persecution imprints to now know who you are and where you are right here and right now, right? So let this be an upliftment to you, and allow yourself to be able to release what you need to release. Go within. This is a time for rest for a lot of us. Continue to take this rest, especially during the Sirius Gateway. Let me say that. Happy Sirius Gateway opening. That's on the calendar too, from 7/3 to 7/7, when it closes in 7/7, the Sirius Gateway. And the peak of it is on 7/5. Okay, that's when they opened CERN about 2 years ago on 7/5, because that is the peak of this Sirius Gateway. I call it it's like a vortex or gateway portal, right? So happy serious gateway opening. And as you're in this opening, do some introspection, some going within, still being with yourself. Don't push yourself to do too much because there's a lot that is shifting. Take time to find these energy imprints. If you want something to do, play energy imprint word search and search the realms of time. Ashe. So with that said, I'm going to leave that right there. Thank you all for those who are coming through, who are still supporting. Remember, the retreat is coming up in December, so look out for the retreat. Look out for starting to save up. It's going to be during the full moon of December, the full moon in December. So look on your calendar, and wherever you see the full moon, that's where we're going to be having our 7-day retreat. So continue to look out for that. We are wrapping all of that up right now. We want to have it to you all by the end of this month, so you can start putting down your funds and whatever it is that you need to do, and we're making it as affordable as possible. So get ready to join us on that retreat as well. It's going to be a beautiful time. So let me get in while I could keep my skin because these mosquitoes are getting in. So with that said, love you all. Each one, reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start in your big, beautiful heart. Shine your light from the inside out. And be the candle that lights the next one and the next one and the next one. Portal through. And know who you are. Be true to you. Ashe, peace, love, and light.